Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, this was the darling of the media, like possibly we've never seen. And if we were to run somebody back that captivated as many headlines and as much attention as Chimaev was able to do pre-pandemic and all the way up until recent, you have to go back to Ronda Rousey. To go back to Ronda Rousey, and you might even have to go back to somewhere Conor McGregor is still very good. I almost put Conor into a different category, right? He did such a good job with the media, it's almost not an equitable comparison. But however those chips fall that I just laid out, Chimaev was one of them. He was one of the great darlings of the MMA media ever. Only had a couple of fights, did them back-to-back, though, different weight classes, short notice, finished everybody right. I mean, like, there was just enough to go off of. Not to mention a young up-and-comer at a weight class where it appeared they had a king that was going to sit till possibly the end of his career. Right? I mean, don't forget about that. That was an important part to the Chimaev story. The absolute dominance of Kamaru Usman going through that division and going through it for a second time. That is related directly to the rise of Chimaev, why people were trying to get him there so quickly. Right when you write a guy off, and we've seen that before, right? I mean, Adesanya just went through it. You write a guy off, okay, he's going to be a champion until he retires. And as the fan, we want to see the greatness, and we're going to continue to tune in. But we know he's going to be the champion until he retires. We know that because the field isn't changing, and he's already beaten them all twice. It was just one of those situations. So then when all of a sudden you have this question mark, well, maybe, it makes things very interesting. Again, if I was to go to Adesanya, I think that that's what Pereira provided. When Bo Nickel was healthy, somewhere the Bo train is coming down the tracks, and this injury and the loss of the match on December 10th has really stopped that momentum. Now, I believe that Bo can get that back, but I will argue for you, one of the things that Bo had helping to drive him was his style in conjunction with that of the champion, who was Adesanya. Okay, so we've established that the media was all over Chimaev and they really liked it. Now, Chimaev came out recently and he said, I want to fight at UFC 285. That card is, I think he said it was 8 or 10 weeks away. I'll take his word for it. I didn't look it up. But he said, and I just want to fight. I don't care if it's at 170 or it's at 185. Several opponents have been offered that fight. That's the date I'm looking at. And all the opponents have turned it down. Do you guys think that that's true? Right, now one thing doesn't have to be a lie for it to not to be true, by the way. I mean, if Chimaev was told that, hey, we're trying to get this fight out, he didn't want to do it. Hey, we're trying to get this fight out, he doesn't want to do it. But Chimaev did say a couple of interesting things there. He said at 170 or 185. Now, that's a little bit problematic in my opinion. Chimaev must establish for us, the audience, is he a 70-pounder or is he an 85-pounder? And until that is established, I'm going to encourage that he's an 85-pounder. Nobody cuts weight for competition, just so you understand. You cut weight to avoid competition. Nobody wants more respect, and therefore they're going to do it smaller. You will say those things. You will present yourself in that manner. There's not a reality to it. And I think that Chimaev does have the courage. I know that he's got the skills. I've seen him fight at 185 pounds twice. I believe I've seen him fight 3 times. I believe his fight with Kevin Holland. They officially changed it to a contracted weight of 178 pounds. 170 pounds isn't a weight class. You weigh 178 pounds, you're a middleweight. No, all of these things are fine. I'm just sharing for you. If Chimaev is still saying these things, hey, I'll do it at 70 or I'll do it at 85. We get his message. His message is whatever you need to do to find somebody opposite me, and I'll give you 2 weight classes to do it in. We got that. But Chimaev's a human being, right? He's got his conscious mind, but then he's got his subconscious mind as well. And my guess would be he is feeding his subconscious mind, don't get your weight under control just yet. before you pass over that beautiful holiday meal, keep in mind you might be going up to middleweight. So add the scoop of potato and spread the gravy around, right? I mean, it's one of those things. How are you going to get your weight under control if you don't even know what the weight is? And I think that was the problem that Chimaev just saw. And the only reason I tell you, but it's a very big reason, the reason I tell you that we, the audience, need to establish a spot for Chimaev is we can help to encourage to get him an opponent. Chimaev saying 4 guys were offered the fight. We don't know who those 4 guys are, but we don't even have 4 guys that we've suggested. We, the media, we, the community, has not got behind an opponent and Chimaev because we don't know what weight class to do it at. So if you have somebody, or in this case, according to him, 4 people that are turning the fight down, well, sure, if there's no pressure, if there's no influence, I mean, that's quite literally what fight promotion is, right? We've got to promote it. We've got to drive somebody in that direction. I also believe that a big reason why 170-pounders have not called Chimaev out is they thought he was booked against Colby. What happened to that? And if Chimaev isn't booked against Colby, who's next for Colby? So Chimaev's interview really did open up a whole bunch of questions. And there are guys that want to fight Chimaev. His words are anybody, and you've got 2 weight classes to choose it. Those are his words, but are those literal words? Because another thing Chimaev could have done is he could have come out and he could have just gone right after Belal Muhammad, who has very openly and publicly been challenging him. He could have come out, Chimaev, and been very open to say, Colby, I was told Colby, you told Colby, I'm planning for Colby, 170 with Colby, but he wasn't doing that. He said that nobody will do the fight, as opposed to calling out somebody who's already done the fight. Gilbert Burns, just by example. I mean, we can keep playing this game, and I think that the field is pretty small. I don't think there's a lot of guys that are jonesing to fight Chimaev. I think there's a real truth to what he's saying, but he's also not giving us very clear direction. Paulo Costa at 185 pounds. Paulo Costa will take that fight with Chimaev. Let's book it now. But it appears that he's not being asked. He's not being pulled that direction. What happened to the fight with Colby? Is that off? I'm asking you. I don't know. If that fight is off, why is it off? Who's Colby going to fight next? When Chimaev comes into his media and he talks about 2 different weight classes, he's got a very specific date of UFC 285, which apparently is right around 2 months away. Why not a specific name? Why not? Why not Belal Muhammad has nobody to fight, and by the way, he's been challenging me, and that's the guy? I'm just asking the question. I'm asking the question because are we getting sincere answers, or is this part of the shtick? I'm in either way, and I've got no problem with it. But the idea that nobody will do it when Belal is asking for it, I've heard Colby discussed, and I've never heard Colby say no. There's even rumors that Usman isn't going to be able to meet their date in, wouldn't you know, March against Leon. The rumors are so strong that people are talking about, and therefore Masvidal is going to come in and save the day. I'll just share with you guys this. If Kamaru Usman can't make that date with Leon, it does not go to Masvidal. You would find a Colby, you would find a Chimaev, you would find a Belal Muhammad, just so you guys can put that. You could just put that rumor to rest. But who's next for Chimaev? Let's help him. Let's find an opponent we want him to fight. But we need one piece of information from Chimaev first. And it's a commitment. And it's a long-term play. It's not a yo-yo. It's not up and down. Are you a middleweight, or are you a welterweight?